It's that time again. Time for another video. Definitely not a fan of that. Strawberry all the way. Again, definitely not sponsored. Photography isn't an easy thing to get into. So what advice will I give to beginner photographers? Let's find out. Photography can be a bit of a minefield when starting out. The settings, the gear, and then the inspiration. What do you shoot? I've been doing photography now for almost 2 years, and there's still so much more to uncover and learn. Not too long ago, I was once in your shoes thinking, how do I go from a beginner to the point where I am now, where I can easily adjust my settings, go out to a location, come back with a photo or photos that I can be proud of. So I want to share with you a few tips that help me escape that beginner bracket of photographers. And after watching this video and implementing these tips, so can you. So as a beginner photographer, I'm assuming you have a camera and know how to adjust your basic camera settings and all that good stuff. So with that said, the first bit of advice I would give to you would be to shoot photos whenever you get a chance. My first year of photography before I moved to Australia, I spent all my spare time watching YouTube videos and just inhaling as much information about my camera and photography in general. And any free time that I had, I was out shooting photos. On my weekends, on my days off from work, early mornings, late afternoons, you name it, I'd be out taking photos. And some of them were quite bad. But every time I went out, I was learning new ways to take photos and exploring compositions. And for the first 8 months or so, on my Instagram, I posted every day. This helped a lot because when I started to look back at the body of work that I was building up, I could see how far I had progressed. You're only going to be as good as the amount of effort that you put in. I hope that makes sense. What I mean by that is if you only shoot photos every couple of weeks, your growth isn't going to be as fast as say someone that is taking photos every few days. Number 2, analyze and draw as much information as you can. My second bit of advice is to analyze different photos and break down how they were taken, what time of day they were shot at, what shutter speed they used, things like that. Even as far as the editing. How did they edit the photo? What techniques did they use? Now this doesn't mean to go out and copy people's photos, that's not what I'm saying. I mean, analysing photos can teach you a lot, and those techniques are things that are going to help you when you next go out to a location. Analysing photos is something that I still do, even now, and even with my own photos. And that's exactly what I do in this video right here, where I chose a selection of my old Instagram photos and analysed them to see what I would do differently next time if I was to shoot those photos again. Feel free to check it out. Number 3, don't buy LUTs or presets. Now, my last bit of advice is something that I haven't heard anyone else talk about. I also need to clarify this. Don't buy LUTs or presets as a beginner. Editing your photos nowadays is a massive part of digital photography. You might see a lot of your favourite photographers out there that are selling these LUT or preset packs that let you emulate their style on your photos. Buying people's presets isn't a bad idea, but it's something I wouldn't recommend if you are a beginner. Paying money to get a look you can just throw onto your photo isn't really going to teach you anything about editing photos. Yes, you can go into that preset and break it down and see what's doing what, but if you're a beginner that is new to photography or editing software such as Lightroom and Photoshop, spending your time learning Lightroom and creating a style that is unique to you is going to be a lot more beneficial to you, especially when starting out. There are tons of free Lightroom resources on YouTube that are going to help you understand the program and ultimately benefit you a lot more, especially in the first few months to a year. So I try to give you some advice that isn't really out there. These tips are things that I have stuck to, especially in the first few months to a year, that have really helped me dramatically level up my photography. The game doesn't stop there though, however, because like I mentioned, editing is a massive part of the process. So if you want to know how I go about creating that atmospheric look in my photos, you might enjoy this video up here where I break down my 3-step process to creating that atmospheric look. And again, feel free to check that out. With that said, I hope you've all enjoyed this video and found it informative. If you have, let me know in the comments down below. Like, subscribe, hit that bell notification to be notified whenever I do upload another video, and as always, I'll see you next week for the next one.